The Today Show, weekday mornings from 7 to 9, only on 14.
Tonight's basketball action between the University of Evansville Aces and the Fighting Sycamores of Indiana State University is brought to you in part by your Coca-Cola General Bottlers of Evansville, by the good people of Kenny Kent, by Old National Bank, your bank for life, and by the Red and White Stores. Now at courtside, here's Mike Blake and Dean Webster.
It's U of E's oldest rivalry. Tonight, it's the 107th meeting between the Aces and the Sycamores. Hi, everybody. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster. Should be fun tonight at the stadium. Dean, the Sycamores are here. They look like athletes.
They're very big, but the guy that runs the show is the little guy, the point guard. 6 foot tall, Tony Twitty, averaging 19.3 points a game through 3 games. He was the leading scorer in the first 2. He also is the team leader in assists, so he's the guy that really makes it go. But they've got some guys that can go to the boards. Of course, rebounding has been the problem for the Aces.
When you speak of rebound, there's Larry Bush, but also a familiar name named Frazier, huh?
Benji Frazier from Mount Carmel and Wabash Valley Junior College last year. Of course, the people in Illinois will remember him. He's now at one of the starting forward positions for the Sycamores.
What about the Aces? Again, Jim Cruz has indicated he's going to change that starting lineup. What do you expect?
Well, he's got Kevin Haddock back in there with Scott Hafter in the guard position, and he's got Brian Hill back in at the center position in place of Jeff Warning. I think that's obviously just trying to get somebody in there that can come up with some rebounds. He thinks Brian Hill can do the job, along with Larry Brand and Marty Simmons on the front line tonight.
And Curtis Jackson is healthy.
Curtis Jackson had the hives against Sam Houston State, but Curtis's hives have subsided a little bit. He's ready to go, and so are the rest of the Aces.
And so are we, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have you with us. Aces basketball is back, and it's proud to be back. We're proud to have it here on Channel 14. Don't go away. The introduction of the starting lineups coming up right after this.
Oh, somebody bounced a check.
Wow. Oops, there's another one. Too bad they're not with Old National.
Look, nobody's perfect. That's why it's smart to have your checking with Old National. They'll keep you covered with your savings or check credit, so a little boo-boo's no big deal.
It's your bank for living, your bank for life. Old National.
Attaboy, Bentley.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
I wish that I could be a star in the sky and some toys for everybody to be nice and be friends and never fight each other.
May all your wishes come true.
Season's greetings from your local bottler of Coca-Cola.
Christmas is a very special season, a time for family and friends, a time to reflect upon the past year. Christmas is a time for sharing. At this Christmas, the folks at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores would like to remind you that their greatest gift of all is the gift of friendship. Thanks for being our friends this past year and in the years to come. Here's our wish to you for the most joyous and blessed Christmas ever from all of us at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores.
Kenny Kent Chevrolet Mazda Volvo presents a consumer awareness announcement. Your sales tax deduction is slipping away. December 31st, 1986 will be the last day you can purchase a new or used car, truck, or custom van and deduct the sales tax. Depending on model selected, your sales tax deduction could be as much as $1,500. If you've been thinking about purchasing a vehicle, Kenny Kent asks you to stop by today and look at their extensive selection and take advantage of the sales tax deduction. Because when it's gone,
the Aces come into this contest with a record of 2-0. Indiana State has a record of 3-0. U of E has, of course, come in with some very fine, impressive scoring, 85 points per game. But the Sycamores, equally impressive, have beaten Westmont College, William Penn, and also Ball State. We're ready now for the introduction of the starting lineups. For that, we go to the PA announcer, Mr. John McCauley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Roberts Stadium for tonight's game between the Indiana State University Sycamores and your University of Evansville Aces. Here are the starting lineups. First for the Sycamores. At forward, a 6'6" junior from Springfield, Illinois, number 22, Benji Frazier. At forward, a 6'6" sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee, number 23, Darian Applewhite. At center, a 6'8" junior from Chicago, Illinois, number 40, Larry Bush. At guard, a 6-foot junior from Wichita, Kansas, number 10, Tony Twitty. And at guard, a 6'5" sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, number 21, Chris Harris. The head coach of the Sycamores is Mr. Larry Green. And now, the starting lineup for your University of Evansville Aces. At forward, a 6'7" freshman from Wheaton, Illinois, number 44, Larry Brand. At forward, a 6'6" junior from Lawrenceville, Illinois, number 50, Marty Simmons. At center, a 6'7" freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, number 42, Brian Hill. At guard, a 6'4" sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana, number 3, Scott Hafner. And at guard, a 6'5" freshman from Columbus, Ohio, number 21, Kevin Haddock. The Aces assistant coaches are Steve Bennett, Will Ray, Dave Skabinski, and Woody Wilson. The Aces head coach is Jim Cruz.
And the officials for tonight's game, the trio from the MCC. Chuck Wyckoff, he's going out towards midcourt. There in the top of your picture is Steve Nicolarat. And at the other end of the court, from where the Sycamores will come out, is Dan Taylor. Some interesting comparisons in the starting lineup. Dean Webster.
Well, I think what we're going to have is how well Scott Hafner is going to be able to handle Tony Twitty. Twitty at 6 foot, very quick, leads the team in assists, but the coaching staff feels like Scott Hafner can do the job. I thought they might be starting Haddock to put on Twitty, but they say, no, we're going to go with Hafner and see how he does and hope he doesn't get in foul trouble early. And, of course, this inside game might be as strong as Sam Houston State. They don't have the big guy like Sam Houston State did in Pearson, but these guys all go to the boards very well.
They sure do. Woody Wilson told us just a few moments ago, he was the one that scouted him. He said, I said, what scares you most about them? He said, the way they attack the board. And he said, they, again, they have that, like their coach, Ron Green, who is very persistent. So are the Sycamores. Nice to have you with us. As you can see, a fine crowd here at Roberts Stadium. In this great rivalry, the Aces come in, as I mentioned, unbeaten. So are the Sycamores. It's UE's best start since 82-83. They haven't been 3-0 since 80-81. But to get to 3-0, it's going to be a tough task. Brian Hill going up against Benji Frazier, controlled by the Aces. Scott Hafner will bring it across.
I think Hill might have got that one on the way up, but no call.
Haddock back out to Hafner. Hafner averaging 21 points a game. Simmons leading the Aces with 27 points plus. Nice pass underneath to Kevin Haddock.
The Sycamores started out man-to-man, and they're really looking for Marty Simmons. Marty Simmons went outside, and Kevin Haddock went inside and was wide open.
Tony Twitty, who is shooting not only 50% from the floor, he's 50% from the three-point range, and a foul on an aggressive Kevin Haddock. Jim Cruz talks to his man.
Haddock's in there to play defense, and he got a little over-aggressive, getting his second start in a row. Did not play at all in the first game against Montana State, then got the call against Sam Houston State. He gets the call again tonight.
I know the team was concerned when Haddock had, they thought maybe a stress fracture, Dean, early in preseason, but it's good to see the kid out there. He is one of the finest athletes on the Aces, and again, only a freshman. This is Woody on the baseline. No good. Strong rebound, and the shot was missed by Applewhite, controlled by Brian Hill. Scott Hafner to Simmons. Hafner will try his first shot, and UE has a 4-0 lead.
When Scott Hafner can get his feet settled underneath him, he's a very good jump shooter from that range.
He's shooting 47%. They leave Harris alone. A foul. The basket did not go in. And a foul on UE. Chris Harris with the drive. He's more known for his defensive prowess. As the foul is committed, as number 21, Harris goes to the line.
Harris had 9 points against the Aces, and that was the second foul on Scott Haddock.
Kevin Haddock has 2. He also has 2 points. 4-0 Aces. And Harris, who is averaging 8 points a game, puts it in. Harris is out of Chicago, Martin Luther King High School. He has very long arms, and they're more of a factor on the defensive end. So keep an eye on him. As Haddock and Hafner bring it up, Hafner wants it back. The Sycamores won at Ball State by a bucket, actually by 1 point, a 3-pointer by Twitty the other night. UE has still been at home, and this is their 3rd home game. They are, of course, unbeaten, and they've already scored more points in their first 2 games than they did all last year in individual games. And a foul as Hafner goes up. He will go to the line.
Applewhite very quick. He tried to get the steal on Scott Hafner, but Hafner was in the act of shooting. I don't know if they're going to give him 2, probably before the play. Here comes Hafner driving to the bucket. Scott really looking for the shot tonight. It looks like he maybe even a little bit more tonight than he in previous 2 games.
He will not. As we come back live, it'll be inbounded. UE with a 4-2 lead. Hafner to Simmons. Ron Green said the 2 biggest differences with UE, a 3-point shot, are Simmons and Hafner, as Hafner's 3-pointer falls short. You'll see a lot of strong defense. UE is playing very good defense. They wanted a 5-second violation. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Twitty traveled, and it's a turnover to the Aces. He really motors, doesn't he, Dean?
He's very quick. I asked the coaching staff, is he like a Darren Fitzgerald or a Carl Golston? Is he that type of player? They said, no, but he's just a real good athlete. He hasn't got quite the explosive quickness, but they said he's still a very quick player.
He's out of Wichita Heights, Wichita, and played at Coffeyville Community College, which has produced a lot of fine ball players. Haddock. Fine shot by Kevin Haddock.
I think we're going to see a lot of Kevin Haddock over the next 4 years, Mike.
Haddock with his 4th point. Aces back up by 4, 6-2. Down the lane goes Harris. Draws a foul. There was no basket. And the foul on Brian Hill.
It's going to be such a plus if the Aces can get some points out of Haddock. He's basically in there for defense, but he isn't. He's also a good shooter from the baseline.
Harris will go back to the line.
Deion Campbell just came into the lineup. He's a 6'5" junior, only averaging 2.3, but he's very quick. He's got 4 steals this season, only 26 minutes of play, so he's got very good hands, and he's a good defensive player.
ISU is shooting only 62% from the line. As you pointed out before the game, Dean, the Aces, one of their strengths has been their free throw shooting. Harris, very fine ball player out of Chicago, who won a slam dunk contest with some of the greatest talent in the country in a high school all-star game. Misses on both, but the Sycamores almost got the rebound. Larry Bush couldn't control it. Here comes Hafner. Aces still by 4. 6-2 here in the early going. Here's Larry Brand, and a rebound by the Sycamores.
Brand doesn't miss that shot too many times. He's going to hit it more often than not.
Into the midsection of the offense goes Benji Frazier with his first contribution. And it's 6-4. ISU back within 2. Marty Simmons, a lot of people from Lawrenceville, of course, were coming down, we were told, by bus for tonight's game. 3-point shot, it's no good. A great tip by Haddock, but it doesn't fall. Haddock again has tremendous jumping ability, and we saw it there, but the ball wouldn't drop. Down, nice pass, and the basket. Hitting inside to Darian Applewhite, and it's a tied ball game. 16.5 remaining in the first half. Simmons draws a crowd, loses it, and a foul on ISU.
Marty Simmons goes to the bucket. So very strong, Mike. 13 of 14 from the free throw line, so when he gets there, he's probably going to make them. He gets the step. He gets a step on Campbell, and Campbell, trying to move over in front of him, commits the foul.
Still 6-6. Baseball over to Marty Simmons. The Aces have a lot of time on the shot clock.
They look a little
down low. Simmons, nice play to Haddock.
I was about ready to say the Aces look a little disorganized with that zone, and Haddock breaks free for the second time inside.
Deion Campbell calling the shots. He's out top. This is Applewhite with a basketball. ISU, like Evansville, has not had much respect in the preseason polls in the conference on a strong drive by Chris Harris. They are picked to finish last in the MVC. The Aces are picked to finish 6th in the MCC. But both teams are undefeated tonight. 8-8 the score. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster. Nice to have you with our first telecast, Aces basketball, here on WFIE. Larry Brand from the corner. Brian Hill and Larry Bush, two strong men, go up for the ball.
There's a lot of strength between those two players.
And a foul on Smith. Let's take another, on Hill rather. Let's take another look.
Well, you see Bush getting the inside position there, and Brian Hill just coming over his back along with Campbell.
Timeout, 15-14 remaining in the first half. 8-8. We're coming right back.
Tommy, guess what? What? He was here. He knows. Oh. Come on, come on. Even he knows Sprite won the taste test.
Coca-Cola Classic and Sprite want you to be it. Win a laser tag game kit on a trip to the national championships. Details at a store where you buy Coca-Cola Classic and Sprite.
At Old National Bank, the cost of money just went down. Introducing Home Equity, the line of credit that's yours at an incredibly low 6%. The only loan that gives you all these advantages. Home Equity. The biggest thing to hit banking in a long, long time. From who else but Old National Bank?
There you see part of the crowd. They're expecting, they thought 8,500, Dean. They had 7,000 preseason or pregame tickets sold. They should have it. It looks like a nice crowd.
A few more than 8,500 in Bloomington, Indiana today to see the Wildcats and the Hoosiers go at it. The Hoosiers winning that one 71-66. Pass along another score here. Xavier of the MCC beat Ohio Dominican. First I looked at that and I thought it was Old Dominion, but it's Ohio Dominican 101-69. And congratulations to the UE Lady Aces. They're 64-62 winners over Akron today. So there's the scores up today for you.
The Xavier Musketeers, of course, will be coming. And speaking of Kentucky, Chris, we saw a great Rex Chapman in action today. The kid has arrived. Sycamores with the ball. We're tied 8-8. Applewhite. And he quickly gives ISU the lead. Applewhite with his 4th point. It's 10-8. We're just under 15 minutes to go. Hafner. Campbell brings it down. Up in a hurry. This is Harris. Good body control, and in it goes. Chris Harris. They talk about ISU being good on the secondary break, let alone the fast break. What does Cruz mean?
Well, the secondary break is when you don't have the shot actually coming down 3-on-2 or 2-on-1. It's when you stop and take a look and somebody posts up underneath. No posting up there, though, for Marty Simmons.
Marty Simmons counters. It's now 12-10. UE back within 2. That's Simmons' first basket. Down low. Good position in the basket by Benji Frazier. We're going to get a substitute. Curtis Jackson coming in momentarily.
Indiana State continues to shoot within 6 or 8 feet from the bucket. If that continues, the Aces are going to be in real trouble in this game.
Simmons trying again. And again getting the rebound. ISU, the ball is lost by Larry Bush. They're fortunate because they had position, Dean. I mean, UE is fortunate they didn't lose it there.
Well, Jim Crews says we get our hands on balls, but we don't get the rebound. And what he means is we'll have position. An ace will go up and grab a hold of it, but he can't bring it down. He kind of bobbles a little bit, and the other guy's maybe a little stronger, takes it away from him.
Kevin Haddock, the Aces' leading scorer thus far, with 6 points, comes out. Curtis Jackson is in, and he has the basketball. Aces still trailing 14-10. Hafner. And control by the Sycamores. Turnaround shot, no good. And the putback, battled around, controlled. So right now, Indiana State winning the battle of the boards, as Bush and Moore both had shot attempts that didn't go. Campbell. Lee Moore tries to get it low, stolen by Brand, and a foul on, I believe, Larry Bush.
I think they may call it on Moore.
Number 40.
No, they're going to call it on Bush. Moore thought maybe it was on him. He was the one cringing, but Bush is the one that threw it away. Could have called it on either one of them.
ISU with its third foul. Aces have committed 4. They try to get back within 2 again. Curtis Jackson. Here he is with his first attempt. Gets his own rebound. Up he goes. A foul. Offensive foul. Curtis nope, no basket. And that's going to bring as you can tell, quite an adverse reaction from the crowd. Here it is.
I think that was probably a pretty good call. Let's see if the man is set here as Curtis goes up. Pretty good call by the official. And in that situation, you're not going to get the bucket called. The fans don't like it here, but I think that's probably a pretty good call, Mike.
Jim Crews expressing...
If looks could kill.
That's right. So the Sycamores with the momentum and a 4-point lead. Wow. Strong move, Chris Harris. And that brings Chris Bamba off the bench for the Aces.
Bamba came in and did the job in the second half against Sam Houston State on Wednesday night.
Hafner with a long three-pointer. The Aces, unlike their first 2 starts, are not hitting the well here. And once again, Mr. Moore with a big rebound. Traveling call, the Aces will get it back. Steve Bennett shouting some instructions to Chris Bamba, who comes in for Brian Hill.
I think what the Aces are looking for here, Mike, is rebounding, and Chris Bamba gave it to him the other night.
Had 7, I believe, didn't he? Or
he came in and only got 3 rebounds, but he was moving people out of the way. Tracy Pearson is a guy who was guarding, who was 6'8" and 280.
So UE a little cold here. Hafner looks out, flares out to Simmons. Down low. Boy, they're really banging. Jackson couldn't get it. Under 12 minutes in the first half. Aces down 16-10. And a foul on number 40. Pushing off on Larry Bush.
Bush got Brand out in front of him. Larry trying to front him and just pushed him off, and that's Bush's second foul. And here comes the big guy, Dean Oliphant.
Out of Jay, Oklahoma, and when Dean says big, he means big. 7-footer. He played at Danville Community College over in Illinois. Averaged 18 points and 9 rebounds. We're coming back in a moment. Aces trail 16-10 at the 11:45 mark. We'll be right back.
Kenny Kent Chevrolet Mazda Volvo presents a consumer awareness announcement. Your sales tax deduction is slipping away. December 31st, 1986 will be the last day you can purchase a new or used car, truck, or custom van and deduct the sales tax. Depending on model selected, your sales tax deduction could be as much as $1,500. If you've been thinking about purchasing a vehicle, Kenny Kent asks you to stop by today and look at their extensive selection and take advantage of the sales tax deduction. Because when it's gone...
When cooler weather sends the Holland Dairy kids indoors, they enjoy delicious, nutritious Holland products and treats. Kyle's a Holland festive dip and chip man. Krista loves cold, refreshing Holland milk with cookies. Ashley thinks Holland ice cream is a real treat. And Betsy is a Holland fruit punch fan. And what do the Holland kids have to say?
Happy holidays! All the dairy should be Holland Dairy.
Aces fans come in all shapes, all sizes, and all ages, Dean. That cute little guy is, he could probably care less, but he looks like he's content, huh?
Never too young to be an Aces fan. A lot of them out here. Only 6,500 on Wednesday night. Kind of a disappointing crowd, but I guess for a Wednesday night, maybe you'd expect it. A lot more than that here tonight.
Chris Bombo will bring it into Scott Hafner. The Aces have their work cut out for them. They trail 16-10, but a lot of time remains here in the first half. ISU came in with a good reputation for strong athletic ability, and they've displayed it here in the early going. Curtis Jackson from the corner.
That's Curtis Jackson's job. Come in and lift the offense, and he certainly did it tonight with that jump shot.
Jackson shooting 50%, has his first basket of the night. Twitty being worked on by, and it's lost. Fine defense by Scott Hafner. In a hurry to Jackson. Up he goes. Too far, but he gets it back to Simmons in the paint. He loses it and is controlled by ISU.
Play is starting to get a little physical inside.
Twitty, he can motor. Controlled by UE. Bomba looks up, but no break. Here come the Aces. Hafner. Larry Brand wanted to put it up.
Hafner 0 for 3 from three-point range, so it might be a while before he takes another.
Simmons. But again, blue jerseys pull it down. 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. ISU with the lead and the ball, 16-12. This is Twitty. Simmons with the rebound. The Aces came in shooting very respectably. They're shooting 65% from the field and 83% from the free throw line. Bamba cross to Simmons. Short pass. Simmons looks maybe a little tired, doesn't he?
He looks like he's forcing his shot a little bit. I think they need to try to work Marty inside a little more.
The shot, the short shot missed by Applewhite. So now becoming a little bit of a track meet.
I think this is an important time down the floor for the Aces. They need to get a bucket here.
And a foul on Tony Twitty.
Twitty's very aggressive both on the offensive end and the defensive end. Last time on the offensive end, we saw him force up a shot, and the coaching staff said that he might tend to force him a little bit. He did that time. He forced it on the defense and committed kind of a silly foul. You really don't want your point guard committing those kind of fouls.
That's his first personal. The team's fifth. They're still not on the 1-and-1. Adderley, Richie Adderley, out of the Bahamas, number 15. He's just a freshman. The book on him is he is a shooter. We shall see. Aces again trying to chip away to 16-12 lead. Jackson, quick move, up he goes. He gets it away from Applewhite, who had the rebound, but it's stolen from him. Adderley has it. Nice speed, and this is Harris with the dunk. So Chris Harris has already got his average 8 points. 9 minutes to go in the first half, and the Aces struggling here, 18-12. Bamba down low. Nice pass in the pass to Marty Simmons.
That's where they're trying to get Marty the ball, and that's where Marty needs to get the ball to be effective.
Simmons came in shooting just under 50%, 47%, but Marty has not hit 50% thus far tonight. The Aces as a team are shooting off the mark. Big tip. Simmons gets the rebound. They're going to have their work cut out all night long on the boards, aren't they?
I look for Jeff Mourning maybe to come in as Scott Hafner puts one up.
Up and in. Hafner with his 4th point. And now it's a 2-point ISU lead. Aces back within 2. But not for long. Larry Bush asserts himself with his first basket. He's averaging 10 points a game. And he's actually shooting better from the free throw line than he is from the field. Or from the field, from the free throw line. He's shooting 58%. Last year, UE set a record for futility at the Hellman Center. They had only 42 points in the loss. Bamba down to Jackson, and a foul. And he's pointing to the big guy, Dean Oliphant. People have asked, is he any relation to the Oliphant of L&M? I do not believe so. This kid is an Oklahoma native.
Jeff Oliphant now at Indiana University.
That's Oliphant's first foul. Here comes Haddock. Scott Hafner, the Iron Man, who's played every minute. He's played all 80 in the first 2 games. He came over for some last-minute instructions. You see him on the top of your screen as Curtis Jackson goes to the line. And tonight, for the first time, we see UE manning their positions on the foul line. Just over 7.5 minutes remaining, and the Aces trail by 3 points, 20-17. Kevin Haddock in. Curtis Jackson comes out, and we're going to take a timeout. We're coming back to the stadium. The Sycamores lead it 20-17.
Evansville's old post office is as solid today as it was 100 years ago. When you do things right, they last. At Old National, we do things right too. We have been since 1834, and that's why we've been around longer than any other bank in town. With Old National, you'll never have to worry about your money, ever, because we're solid today, and we'll be solid tomorrow.
Old National, Old National.
Christmas is a very special season, a time for family and friends, a time to reflect upon the past year. Christmas is a time for sharing. At this Christmas, the folks at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores would like to remind you that the greatest gift of all is the gift of friendship. Thanks for being our friends this past year and in the years to come. Here's our wish to you for the most joyous and blessed Christmas ever from all of us at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores.
The reasons why the Sycamores are up very comfortably here, 2017.
This is where Chris Harris gets to show his jumping ability. Slam dunk over Larry Brand off the fast break.
Pro football back in the spotlight tomorrow night. Again, as you look at some cute young fans here at the stadium. Tomorrow afternoon at noon here on 14, Miami and New Orleans. Followed by the Jets and 49ers. Again, for sports, come home to WFIE-TV Channel 14. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster, and she is a cutie.
We could use her jumping ability.
So here comes ISU. They lead 2017. Just under 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Richie Adderley takes it down. Nice dish off, and again, Mr. Harris up off the floor like he's on a trampoline, and he has 10 points, leading all scores.
The Aces are standing in there trying to take that charge, but these Sycamores have very good body control and step out of the way, pass it off, and get the easy bucket.
Applewhite gets it, and the official says he touched the line. It'll go back to UE.
The Aces are definitely confused on offense. They cannot get the ball inside except for a couple of times to Haddock when he's been in there and he's back in there now. Maybe they should start looking for Kevin inside because the Sycamores really keying on Marty Simmons inside.
Seem to be packing it in a bit. And again, the Sycamores, as Jim Crews said, they're not that tall, but they play tall. Marty Simmons on a pretty fadeaway.
That's where Marty Simmons has got to receive the ball. That's just his 6th point, but he's had to work for those.
Twitty, nice feed again and a foul on Larry Brand, number 44.
The Aces cannot continue to let the Sycamores get that kind of penetration. You see him driving the baseline. That is just a no-no. And Brand was called for the foul. Could have been called on Simmons. Coach Jim Crews up telling Kevin Haddock in college, we do not give away the baseline.
The Sycamores, that is the 6th Aces foul according to the board. After this, they will be in the shooting 1-and-1. So Harris will inbound the ball. Aces trail by 3. Back out to Harris. He has had a very good first half. He's the leading point maker, 10 points. He's directing traffic right now. 25 seconds on the shot clock. A lot of time. Oliphant loses it to Larry Brand.
Brand might have got away with a travel right before he gave it away. He took a little shuffle step.
Simmons, nice pass to Brand. And Larry with his first contribution. He'd missed a couple, then he gets one. The freshman out of Wheaton Central in Illinois. Very steady. Does a lot of things well. And a turnover. Kevin Haddock causes Adderley to turn it over. The Aces will get it back and can now regain the lead. They trail 22-21.
I wouldn't characterize the Aces' play as poor so far, but they have not especially been playing well. They have not played as well as they have in the first 2 games, yet they're only a point behind, and they can take the lead with 5 minutes to go in the half.
That was Ron Green, who's taken his coat off, the Terre Haute native. Now the coach, and a 3-pointer. Scott Heffner. And suddenly this crowd is alive here and doing well, thank you, at the stadium. Aces lead it 24-22. Blocked by Hafner. Boy, did he get off the pine.
The crowd's starting to get into it a little bit. 7 straight points reeled off by the Aces.
Harris, or rather Applewhite. This is Harris down low. The ball goes out of bounds. It'll be retained by ISU.
Getting much better defense on the inside now. I think that's going to be the key to stop Indiana State, is to get not letting the point guards to pressure the ball inside, and then once it gets inside, to play the tough defense.
There have been many great Indiana State-Evansville matchups here at the stadium. People will remember 78-79 when a guy named Bird had 40 points in 40 minutes. The first year the Aces went Division I, they won it by the score of 74-70. ISU did. The ball batted around and controlled, and a foul on Richie Adderley. And the stadium is rocking.
The Aces doing much better on the boards tonight, even though that was a long rebound. You saw 2 Aces going after it. Hafner knew he couldn't get it, but he tips it up in the air there. He says, I'm not going to let Adderley get it. And then Kevin Haddock pulls it down.
Credit Scott Hafner with keeping it here. We're coming back in a moment. Aces on top by 2.
Just for the light of it, the smooth taste of it. Diet Coke, just for the just for the taste of it, from Coca-Cola.
Christmas is a very special season, a time for family and friends, a time to reflect upon the past year. Christmas is a time for sharing. At this Christmas, the folks at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores would like to remind you that the greatest gift of all is the gift of friendship. Thanks for being our friends this past year and in the years to come. Here's our wish to you for the most joyous and blessed Christmas ever from all of us at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores.
Aces back on the court with a 2-point lead. 4:35 remaining in the first half. What do you think really turned it around the last couple of minutes, Dean?
Defense. I definitely think it's the defense for the Aces. 56% shooting for Indiana State, but they missed their last couple of shots. It was probably up over 60. I think definitely defense inside, and they're not allowing the penetration by the point guards. Twitty, sitting on the bench, has not been a factor as we thought he might be, averaging 19 points a game. Don't believe he's even hit the scoring column.
And Kevin Haddock will now go to the line, 6 points. Played on the Columbus, Ohio state champion team last year out of Father Worley High School, a team that wound up number 19 in the nation by the end of the year. Fine looking athlete who puts in his first free throw attempt. He gives the Aces a 3-point lead. And again, going up for the strong rebound, Larry Bush. He leads the team with 8 rebounds, and he had 16 the other night at Ball State. Applewhite. They wanted a traveling call. That's what brought Jim Cruz up off the bench. Down low, Moore on the turnaround. Lee Moore, out of Brevard Community College in Cocoa, Florida. Came to ISU a couple of years ago, went to JUCO ball, and it now is back. Aces still with a 2-point lead. We go under 4 minutes here in the first half. Hafner down low on a foul. Simmons draws a crowd and a foul.
He's awfully tough to stop when he gets the ball in the paint. When he receives it there, he's awfully tough. You can see Hafner with the misdirection, throws it inside. Harris has got his hands full as Bush comes over to block it, but he's a little late. And now the Aces go back and take all 4 men and put them at the 10-second line. The reason simply because they do not figure they're going to get the rebound. Simmons is a good free throw shooter, and it saves these 4 out here a time up and down the floor as I jinx Simmons and he misses.
That foul, by the way, was on Chris Harris, their best defensive player, according to the media guide, and Coach Ron Green has 1 foul tonight. The Sycamores can regain the lead here. Ball lost by Moore. Now they'll come back out. About 20 seconds on the shot clock. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Simmons, nice steal. Marty breaks it up. He'll go all the way. And a foul. He draws the foul, but the ball just would not go. Boy, Simmons really moved, didn't he?
Marty's had kind of a tough time getting untracked in the first couple of games, but he seems once he gets untracked, he's been playing very well.
There you see the Aces, and here's the replay.
Came up with a good steal, just stepped right in front of Moore, takes it one-on-one against Adderley, and he's either going to get the bucket and maybe both as he puts it up and it just rimmed out. And Marty goes back to the free throw line.
So Marty, who came in shooting 92%, he had 13 of 14 from the line coming into tonight. Gets the roll this time. Nice touch. And Marty with his 7th point. What an incredible career this young man had for the Lawrenceville Indians. One of the best to ever come out of Illinois as they won 2 state championships. It's well chronicled, of course, in this part of the country as Hafner with a steal.
The Aces defense coming up again with the big play.
They'll try now to add to their 3-point lead. We're almost under 3 minutes. Hafner, nice pass. Traveling call.
Marty can't believe how wide open he was. He turned around and tried to make a little move, and there wasn't anybody there. He could have just laid it in. Jim Cruz says, that's okay. Good play. As long as you play hard, that's all Jim Cruz asks of you.
Deion Campbell being worked on by Kevin Haddock. The Aces, of course, will not only have a big game tonight as Mr. Applewhite hits from the corner. They've got another great rivalry resuming. You can underline the World Rivalry Monday night when the Panthers from Kentucky Wesleyan come over. We'll tell you more about that later in the ball game. Brand back out to Hafner. Aces still by a point rather, 27-26. Simmons for 3. Cleared by Bush.
I don't think Jim Cruz was too happy about that shot selection.
You almost really need your feet planted, don't you, when you go for that three?
Yeah, that's a pretty good shot. Even though they say it's just a nice, easy jump shot, you got to have your feet under you to be a very consistent three-point shooter.
And Lee Moore upset. He drew 3 aces around him and then traveled. So UE gets it back. We're under 2 minutes. 1:57 to go in the first half. Evansville leading 27-26. Hafner into underneath the Simmons. Great play.
What a pass. They know that Scott Hafner is the key to the offense. They put one guy on him real tight that time, and then when he got around him, there was another waiting for him. Campbell was waiting for him.
So Marty warms up. He's got 10 points. The Aces have 29. Moore on the turnaround. And a foul on Chris Bamba. They are not shy putting it up, are they?
No, they're not. Chris Bamba's going to get those fouls. He's a banger in here. And Chris is not blessed with great quickness and just shoves a little bit on that one. And Applewhite will go to the line.
And Tony Twitty and Benji Frazier come in, while Dion Campbell and Lee Moore come out for ISU.
We played almost 19 minutes, and the 19.3 points per game from Tony Twitty has been nullified to 0. No points for him as he comes back in.
Meanwhile, Mr. Applewhite gets his 7th point. Applewhite only had made a couple of free throws, but he'd only had 2 free throws. He was perfect from the line coming in. And he's perfect tonight, 2 for 2. 29-28 UE with 1:19 when this ball is inbounded. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster from the stadium. Aces basketball. ISU leads the series 59-47. They've also won 9 of the last 11 meetings. So UE really wants to start turning that type of series around. Bamba dribbling and gets the foul from Larry Bush.
Bush doesn't need to pick up those kind of fouls that far away from the basket, and I'm sure Ron Green will mention that to him.
That will bring him out, I would think. That's his 3rd foul. They notify the bench.
And Ron Green looking for somebody now.
And he points to number 41, Olafemi Akinola. He's known as OK at the Holman Center. The kid is OK. He's a Nigerian who played at the age of 14 with a guy named Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, the great University of Houston player, now with the Houston Rockets.
Bamba misses, so we're down to a minute. It remains a 29-28. A very precarious 1-point lead for the Aces. Boy, Twitty saw somebody or something that no one else saw. And UE gets it back. And the UE cheering section comes out with an air ball.
Scott Hafner just looked over and said 1 shot with 50 seconds left. Jim Cruz looked at the clock and said, nope, run your offense.
Marty Simmons. Both teams have had their chances here in the first half. Hafner with a strong drive. And it's off. Scott Hafner wanted it off Harris, but it'll go to ISU, and they'll have just under a half a minute. 29 seconds as they bring it up. 29-28 Aces. Rebound by Akinola. He can't get it. A whistle and a foul. He's pointing at Bamba.
Akinola got in there and did a good job on the boards. There he puts it up with the left hand, a little hard, goes up and gets it. Bamba trying to contest it, but Akinola, the great jumping ability, goes up and grabs it. In comes Curtis Jackson. Now in comes Troy Jones.
As Haddock and Bamba will sit out the last 11 seconds of the half.
Well, with 11 seconds, you figure even if he doesn't hit the free throws, you get the rebound, you get it out, and you've got shooters in there.
This is Akinola's 7th free throw. He's only hitting 33%. And again, the Aces get a reprieve, but they don't get the rebound. Turnaround, rebound by Jackson. They'll have to hurry. 5 seconds. Jackson loses it, Simmons can't, and that's how it'll end at halftime. At the half here at Roberts Municipal Stadium, it's the U of E 29, ISU 28. We'll be right back.
Kenny Kent Chevrolet Mazda Volvo presents a consumer awareness announcement. Your sales tax deduction is slipping away. December 31st, 1986 will be the last day you can purchase a new or used car, truck, or custom van and deduct the sales tax. Depending on model selected, your sales tax deduction could be as much as $1,500. If you've been thinking about purchasing a vehicle, Kenny Kent asks you to stop by today and look at their extensive selection and take advantage of the sales tax deduction. Because when it's gone...
Christmas is a very special season, a time for family and friends, a time to reflect upon the past year. Christmas is a time for sharing. At this Christmas, the folks at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores would like to remind you that the greatest gift of all is the gift of friendship. Thanks for being our friends this past year and in the years to come. Here's our wish to you for the most joyous and blessed Christmas ever from all of us at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores.
Know what I want for my brother? A bike. I wish I could have a rabbit. I would like to fly. Daddy, some cologne. And Mama, some perfume. I wish I could be a hockey star.
May all your wishes come true.
Season's greetings from your local bottler of Coca-Cola.
At Old National Bank, the buck stops with Margot Edwards.
Here in Eastland Mall, fast service counts. That's what you'll get with Old National. Because I can make my own decisions, you don't get stuck waiting around.
The buck stops with Bill Forkey.
My customers like working with someone they know. With Old National, they do. Banking here is one-on-one. It's just you and it's just me. Now, isn't that the way it ought to be?
Old National, Old National.
Once again here at Roberts Stadium, while there's splishing and splashing in the background, the Aces went into the locker room 29-28. Interesting ball game.
I think the Aces didn't play quite as well as they did in the first two games, in the first half at least. I think the defense picked up a little bit. They stopped the penetration from Adderley and Twitty, but then early on it was the inside shots from Frazier, and Harris had a bundle. He had 10 early points. And I think once they stopped that, that's when the Aces got a little more in control of the game, and when they took the lead, they now lead by 1 at the half.
While shutting down Mr. Twitty, I know that Jim Cruz is going to say, hey, these guys are getting too many rebounds, or at least it looks like it.
They're definitely hitting the boards and out-rebounding like everybody else has with the Aces right now. Aces have trouble rebounding against themselves in practice, I think.
About the shooting, who's impressed you UE-wise offensively, Dean?
Well, I think Kevin Haddock, obviously. Kevin has worked free inside. I think they're going to have to get the ball to Larry Brand and maybe get either Brian Hill or Jeff Mourning a little more involved in the offense, get Mourning into the game. But I think that's what they're going to have to look for, because they're putting a lot of pressure on Marty Simmons, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Scott Hafner.
It's going to be fun. Second half coming up, but first we'll have halftime stats right after this.
WFIE, come on home, America, 14's what you want to see. Come on home, come on home.
Come home to Wheel of Fortune weeknights at 6:30.
Have 5 more. We take a look at some of the other team stats, and the Aces still not shooting very well from the field. 12 of 27. Officially, it was 12 of 30, only 40%. They continue to have a pretty tough time of it from the three-point land. 1 of 7, only 50% from the free throw. And the turnovers, only 2 for the Aces, and officially Indiana State ended up with 10. The Aces came up with 6 steals, and that's basically where the turnovers came about. That Aces defense finally took over, and that's why the Aces lead 29-28 at the half.
And speaking of the score, scoring-wise, Simmons and who are some of the leaders?
Well, Scott Hafner has continued to have his shooting problems in the first half, as he did Wednesday night, but Simmons leads the way with 10. Hafner and Kevin Haddock, the guy that started at guard, kind of a surprise starter, didn't see action against Montana State in the first game on Monday night. Came in and only played 5 or 6 minutes in a starting role on Wednesday, and getting the start here on Saturday night, came up with 7 points. He's got a couple of fouls. He's the only ace in trouble. Curtis Jackson came in, gave him a lift, even though that's only 3 points. That was a lift when he came in, hit a big bucket, and got the Aces back on track. Larry Brand came up with a couple. Harris leads the way for Indiana State. Chris Harris with 12 points. He came in only averaging 8 points, so he's got his average and then some.
Say there's interesting news for Aces fans who want to purchase tickets by December 15th for the Midwestern Collegiate Conference Tournament in Indianapolis. If you do so by the 15th, you'll be guaranteed an equal number of tickets for the following week's NCAA tournament at the Hoosier Dome. The MCC tournament takes place at the end of February, the 26th, 27th, and also March 1st at Market Square. Now, the first and second rounds, the sub-regional of the NCAA, will take place March 12th and 14th at the Hoosier Dome. Tickets for the 6-game MCC tournament are priced at $25. Tickets for the 6-game NCAA tournament are $45 for lower level seats and $36 for upper level. They're on their feet as you see the Sycamores getting their last-minute instructions. U of E leading here 29-28 in what has been a very well-played basketball game. Ron Green, as I mentioned, a native of Terre Haute, he's come full circle. He coached at Loyola of New Orleans, University of New Orleans, Mississippi State, Murray State, and now he's come back to his hometown. He played at Gertzmeyer for the legendary Howard Sharp. He was a 3-year starter at Murray and graduated there in '62. And he has been a very successful head coach. He's won everywhere he's went, and he's winning here at Indiana State. 3-0 this year, but the Aces under second-year head coach Jim Crews would like to change that tonight. Good ball game, Dean.
Pretty good ball game. Some other teams in action tonight from the MCC. Loyola's at home with South Carolina. Detroit plays Wayne State. Butler and Ball State. Northern Iowa at St. Louis. And Oral Roberts at home with UC Irvine.
So here we go. Sycamores inbound it. It goes to Chris Harris, who led with 12 points, led ISU in the first half. Stolen by Brian Hill, and he traveled. Jim Crews very pleased with the effort. But Brian took a couple of bitty steps there, and it goes back to Indiana State. Troy Jones in the lineup, number 12. Frazier is fouled by Hafner.
I think that's a bad call. And Jim Crews did not like it, and I concur with him. Frazier went up, just lost the ball. He just lost the ball, and it rolled down his wrist, and Hafner reached up and knocked the ball away. And I think Jim Crews probably got a pretty good beef as we see the ball going up after the shot. The foul's on Hafner. Scott not very happy with that.
Frazier goes to the line. He's only had one free throw attempt this year prior to that. And it remains tied at 29 all. But again, ISU gets the rebound. Frazier with 5 points on the night. This is Twitty. He's had a tough night. And Larry Brand controls the board. and Jones out front. Brand has played virtually the entire game. Hafner needs help. Troy Jones, in 31 minutes playing time in the first 2 games, has not had a turnover, a very impressive statistic. Hafner is open from the corner. 3-point play by Scott Hafner.
Well, they're going to put Troy Jones in there, have Troy run the offense from outside and make Scott more of a shooting guard.
Hafner, Jones, and Simmons have the green light to shoot from anywhere within reason. Twitty gets it down. A nice, I was going to say block from Brian Hill, but he gets the foul. So the Baltimore Dunbar product picks up his 3rd personal. He has not scored yet. You asked him, why would a guy from Baltimore want to come all the way to Evansville to play basketball, and he told you?
Simply said academics. I know when I come to Evansville, they have a good reputation for academics, and I know I'm going to get my degree if basketball is not in my future. So what a class kid, and that's what kind of kids Jim Crews recruits. He recruits class kids.
Darian Applewhite doesn't get it to go from the free throw line, and it remains 32-30. The ball goes off Benji Frazier, and UE will get it back. Delighted to have you with us in this, our inaugural telecast of Aces basketball on 14. We hope you'll be with us again Monday night. We'll bring you the Panthers of Kentucky Wesleyan as one of the great rivalries will resume. The biggest crowds, 3 of the 4 largest crowds to ever see a game here at the stadium, were between UE and Wesleyan. And a foul on Marty Simmons.
Oh, I think Jim Crews is having a little problem with this one official. He does not like the call again. Let's take a look at it. Might have been a good call. Let's see. Marty loses the ball. Twitty picks it up. And right there, well, I don't know. You make the call. Jim Crews is making it. He says it was a clean steal.
He was pleading his case. That is Marty's first foul. Simmons with his first personal. We played just about 2 minutes here in the second half. Aces by 2 points, 32-30. Frazier wanting to some help, gets it back out to Twitty. They have put a blanket on Twitty, still looking for his first points. He's averaging 19. He tries to go to Frazier. Hafner saves it back to Twitty. Down to Frazier and the basket. Benji Frazier with his 7th point. Just before the half, and a foul on Darian Applewhite.
They've got Applewhite, a little bigger guy, out on Hafner now here in the second half.
That's 2 on him. Incidentally, just before the half, I started to say Steve Bennett went out and gave explicit instructions to Troy Jones. I'm impressed with all the assistants have their certain roles, and they have the license to coach.
Yeah, I think when we went to practice one night on a Sunday evening, we were very impressed with how the assistants handled practice. And again, Marty Simmons having problems catching the ball.
Marty upset with himself as it stays 32 all. And Twitty and Harris will bring it up court. That's Hafner working on Twitty. Twitty saying he's really being guarded well tonight, and a foul on Larry Brand. Ron Green motions now. He wants to talk to Twitty. That's the 4th team foul by the Aces, 2nd foul by Larry Brand.
Hasn't been much breathing room for either team. Indiana State's biggest lead, 6. The Aces 3, as you see Brand committing the foul there.
So the Sycamores spreading it around.
The Aces in a zone.
Oh, right, I was just going to say it certainly looks like a zone. Twitty comes around to the other side. Marty Simmons with a rebound. Up to Hafner. Now, Jones, beautiful pass. to Brian Hill.
Troy Jones with an excellent pass. Troy had his shot. Brian Hill snuck along the baseline, got it, and put it in for 2.
And timeout is called. 16 and a half minutes remaining. We're coming back. Aces 34-30.
Kenny Kent Chevrolet Mazda Volvo presents a consumer awareness announcement. Your sales tax deduction is slipping away. December 31st, 1986 will be the last day you can purchase a new or used car, truck, or custom van and deduct the sales tax. Depending on model selected, your sales tax deduction could be as much as $1,500. If you've been thinking about purchasing a vehicle, Kenny Kent asks you to stop by today and look at their extensive selection and take advantage of the sales tax deduction. Because when it's gone...
Christmas is a very special season, a time for family and friends, a time to reflect upon the past year. Christmas is a time for sharing. At this Christmas, the folks at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores would like to remind you that their greatest gift of all is the gift of friendship. Thanks for being our friends this past year and in the years to come. Here's our wish to you for the most joyous and blessed Christmas ever from all of us at the Red and White and Lucky Dollar food stores.
UE with a 34-32 lead. Some nice play here, Dean Webster.
Mike, you said Troy Jones doesn't turn the ball over, and he also makes assists. Brian Hill with the almost stufferino.
Troy Jones, indeed, out of Muncie, Indiana. Very fine talent. Played for the Daleville Broncos. Last year was an all-freshman team member, and he led these Aces in shooting and free throw, as Ron Green has certainly been a very busy man tonight for Murray State.
We talked at halftime offensively that we would need some more offensive punch. Brian Hill coming up at the bucket there. Now Jeff Mourning into the ball game. Get a little better rebounder and a pretty good shooter.
So ISU again will try to tie the ball game. They trail 32-30, and they do right out of the shoot. Benji Frazier. He now has 9 points. He prepped at Springfield, Illinois, and of course had a very fine career with the Warriors of Wabash Valley. Jones with his first shot off of Simmons, I believe, and a foul is called. Foul on Chris Harris. That's his second personal. The Aces will inbound it under their basket. We're tied at 34 all, approaching the 16-minute mark in the game. And Marty Simmons, he has that quick first step, and boy, he moves.
Marty will come right at you. Let's take another look at it off the inbounds play. You see Marty get it, and Frazier stepping right in front there, picking up the foul.
That's Frazier's first personal, so he's in good shape. Here it's to Jeff Mourning. Hafner is a very fine passer. Here he is with a shot, short. Fails to draw iron, and here come the Sycamores. Twitty, offensive charge on Tony Twitty.
Tony Twitty has to be the most frustrated player in the building right now. He just cannot get on track.
He'll be happy to get on the bus.
Yeah, he certainly will. Averaging 19.3 points a game. Tries to make something happen here. And Troy Jones was waiting on him, and that's what happened. A charging foul on Tony Twitty.
And it's Troy that brings it across, shouting instructions. One thing we have not seen tonight is the pressure that we saw at Montana State and Sam Houston State, and Larry Brand puts it in. Did that surprise you? We haven't seen the full court pressure?
They put token pressure on a couple of times in the first half, but once they got the ball in bounds, they backed off. We may see him come at the Aces real hard, maybe at about the 8 or 10 minute mark.
Tony Twitty again being hounded by Scott Hafner, who's done a great job tonight. From the side, rebound Simmons. Under 15 minutes remaining. Aces leading 36-34. And there's the Browntown Central product. Jeff Mourning has had a fine preseason. He's another one of the young Aces that people are going to like. They're going to like them all, but he has really been impressive. Down to 15 seconds on the shot clock. Jones down to Simmons. Ball is knocked out. It'll go to ISU, and Marty Simmons picks himself up. He plays one speed, and it is great to watch this kid play. If he can stay healthy, it'll be a wonderful 2 years, and particularly for a lot of people in Southern Illinois that are thrilled that he's back playing in this area.
Certainly will be.
On the side, and a whistle. And a foul. They're pointing. Look like Simmons. And that'll bring Curtis Jackson in.
You notice the Aces the last time down the floor offensively took a lot of time. I think they're trying to rest a little bit. Let's see if Simmons does block out a little too much there. You can see him shoving Bush as Bush tries to get around Marty.
22, Benji Frazier with the missed shot. There's Marty taking a seat, so the captain goes down and sits next to Coach Dave Skavinsky.
You see the coach there. He and Will Ray seeing a lot more games this year because they don't have to do so much recruiting.
And I know Coach Cruz appreciates that as the ball. They get the roll. Benji with the basket. And now he's starting to pick up. He has 11 points, and it's tied again. 36-36, 13:52 remaining. Last year, it was a defensive struggle at the Holman Center, 51-42. It's not going to be any big score tonight either. Morning tries to get it to Curtis Jackson, knocked out by Deion Campbell.
On Wednesday night, when they took Marty Simmons out, the offense didn't miss a beat. In fact, it even picked up a little bit. Marty Simmons on the bench. Let's see what's going to happen tonight.
This is Larry Brand.
That's what happens. Larry Brand is a great baseline shooter.
Young man had a start of the first 4 games last year, and then the heartbreak of a stress fracture in his foot, and he missed the season, but he's got 4 years of eligibility, and are the Aces fans delighted with that.
And he injured his foot in the Indiana State game last year.
Here's a substitute, Moore, coming in for the Sycamores. Scott Hafner with his second personal.
Ron Green sending some reserves in, trying to give his kids a breather.
Applewhite tries to tie it, and he does.
Ron Green wants a three-pointer called on that one, but I think his foot was on the line.
38-38. Again, you've got some real good long-distance firepower. Hafner and Troy Jones. Marty Simmons is on the pines right now. Morning trying to get his feet. Curtis in traffic, and it's cleared off by Lee Moore. Moore has been impressive on the boards. Here's Twitty in a hurry. And an offensive charge on Twitty. He has really, as you mentioned, been a frustrated individual.
Twitty cannot believe it, and I'm not so sure that the replay might not say he's got a pretty good beef. Let's see. No, looks like Troy might have got over there in time. Could have gone either way, but the foul this time's on Twitty. That's his third.
Credit the always present Mr. Jones. The ever present Troy taking another charge. We go under 12.5 minutes remaining, tied up. Hafner at the line.
You know, it looks like he's off balance on that, but he turns so well and gets his shoulders square to the bucket. And when he gets that shot, he's going to hit it.
Born in Terre Haute, so he's playing his hometown team out of Noblesville. Twitty finally on the board.
Kenny Kent Chevrolet Mazda Volvo presents a consumer awareness announcement. Your sales tax deduction is slipping away. December 31st, 1986 will be the last day you can purchase a new or used car, truck, or custom van and deduct the sales tax. Depending on model selected, your sales tax deduction could be as much as $1,500. If you've been thinking about purchasing a vehicle, Kenny Kent asks you to stop by today and look at their extensive selection and take advantage of the sales tax deduction. Because when it's gone,
leading 42-41. Jeff Cooper comes in. What's the book on him?
Jeff Cooper likes to put it up from three-point range. He's had 13 shots from the field. 9 of them have come from the three-point range, and he's hit 4 of them. So a 44% three-point shooter is not bad. He's only shooting 46% from the field, so you can see that he's not bad, but he likes that three-point range. 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 80%. You see Curtis stealing it and then stepping on the out-of-bounds line.
Again, the other night, for those of you who were not at the stadium, Curtis Jackson gave Aces fans a scare. He left the game and was on the bench, and I honestly couldn't recognize him from the allergy that had broken out.
It looked like a twin brother that maybe just had you know, it just looked big. His face was swollen, and they called it an allergic reaction or hives. I don't think they were ever really sure what it was.
He's taking medicine for his back, and I think they think it was a reaction to the medicine, but you can be sure they've changed the medicine or found out the history, because they can't afford to lose him.
Aces trainer Steve Dayton, no doubt, right on top of that little problem. And Jim Cruz, I would sure say, Steve, let's get that medicine changed. We need him in there.
There you see, moments ago you saw Ron Green. Jim Cruz has his entire cabinet here tonight. The very fine coaching staff of Will Ray, Woody Wilson, Steve Bennett, and Dave Skavinsky. And as we said before, they contribute, and these guys, they work and work and work.
We mentioned Will Ray and Dave Skavinsky last year spent an awful lot of time on the road recruiting and recruited 4 very good freshmen. This year, with no seniors graduating, they can spend a little more time at home.
11.5 minutes remaining. Aces by 1. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster. Delighted to be with you with our first telecast of Aces 86-87. The ball thrown away. Curtis Jackson with some fine defense. And UE will bring it up.
Deion Campbell got handcuffed over there in the corner, and Marty Simmons came over to help out.
This is Cooper with the thigh bandage, guarding Troy Jones. He gets it to Simmons. He goes up. Marty's one of those gifted athletes that can create things. There again, he probably didn't think he had much of a shot, but he still threw a pass.
Still put it up. That's where Marty has to get the ball. He has to get it in the paint. You see, he turns. He gets Frazier up in the air. He's trying to draw the three-point play. He knows he's going to get fouled, so he goes up, tries to make contact, and then kind of set himself a little bit and then get the ball off. But Frazier fouled him so well that it really knocked him off balance, as, again, the Aces' other 4 stand at the 10-second line as Marty goes to the free throw line and hits it.
Marty looking for his first second-half point and gets it. He's got 11 unofficially on the night. Came in shooting 93% from the stripe. Had a couple of free throws in the first half. He's short on this one. So the Aces maintain a 43-41 advantage as we come to the 11-minute mark. And it goes off the foot. Brand with a nice save, but it goes off the foot of Troy Jones.
We had 3 guys in line for that one. Larry Brand, Marty Simmons, and Troy Jones all trying to steal the ball. Again, the Aces fall back into that zone on the out-of-bounds play.
From a long range, Darian Applewhite. 3-point play. And once again, the Sycamores back on top by a point. They lead 44-43. Jackson, Simmons. Strong rebound by Lemore and a foul on Jeff Mourning. That's Mourning's first personal. It's the Aces' 7th, so it'll send the Sycamores to the line.
You see Mourning going over the back of Moore. Moore, he's one of those Indiana-Kentucky All-Stars. He played on the Indiana All-Stars a couple of years ago.
Those of you who know the Fort Wayne basketball area, he took Elmhurst to the semi-state a couple of years ago. And he's the one that went down to Florida, didn't he?
We talked about that earlier, that he was at Indiana State. Ron Green came in. I don't know if maybe he said, well, maybe Ron Green's not my kind of coach. He took a year, went to junior college. I guess he decided Ron Green was his kind of coach because he came back to Indiana State this year.
Talk about coming in. Brian Hill under the basket right now comes in as Jeff Mourning is out. And Lee Moore gives the Sycamores a 45-43 lead.
Jim Cruz talks about positive minutes played. He said a lot of the kids don't get a lot of the players don't get a lot of minutes, but when they come in, they have to make positive contributions. Jeff Mourning came in and really didn't do much for the Aces.
Hill with the rebound. As expected, Harris covering Hafner. This is Simmons. Jackson can't quite get it off. Curtis moves with authority. Strong. Here's Hill. Brian Hill in the right spot at the right time and has 4 points.
That's what the Aces need out of those role players. They need them to get buckets like that. That's Brian Hill and Larry Brand's job.
We're just about halfway through the second half. 10:05 to go, and it's tied 45 all. The Aces have already scored more points than they did last year at Terre Haute, so that's encouraging. But this team this year is going to score a lot of points. If they can stay healthy. Curtis couldn't quite get his hand on it. Hill does, but it's retained. Frazier fans it out. Cooper down low. Nice play, and a basket by Harris. Good ball movement.
You know, you feel like if either one of the teams really get in the flow, they could put the other one away, but it hasn't happened so far.
ISU by 2. Moran back out to Hafner. Takes it down, up. Banged around. Cooper with a rebound. Cooper. Crowd wanted a traveling. Cooper, of course, wanted a foul, and Harris wants the basket, but it doesn't go.
Frazier pushed Simmons off that time. No call. It's kind of getting out of hand out there. The officials really need to get control. A lot of pushing and shoving going on, and they take control by calling a foul on Benji Frazier.
Jim Cruz wants to talk to his troops as a foul is made. Benji Frazier picks up his 3rd foul of the second half.
Believe me, that was a one-way conversation. There was no reply in that huddle.
So the 4 of the Aces go back to midcourt, while Marty Simmons will now go to work at the free throw line. He'll try to tie this ball game. Gets the roll. Marty shooting 47% from the field.
You know, they had a little problem with the ball early on. The first time out in the first half, they changed balls, and I don't know if they've really got one the players like yet.
13 points for Marty Simmons. He's been averaging 27. That's best in the MCC conference in pre-conference play. 9 minutes to go, and we're tied again. 47 all. The 107th meeting between these two fine universities. Moore on the turnaround. Lee Moore.
That's pretty good defense. I think the coaching staff will let Moore take all those shots he wants.
Once again, Hafner has been in there, I think, the entire run. Simmons getting position, gets the foul. And 2 more blue jerseys come in. Bush and Twitty come in.
Mike, this is a point in the game where some players start getting a little bit tired, but Marty Simmons, this is where he starts getting stronger. He's almost like a running back. They talk about those good running backs in the NFL. They get better after they've had 15 or 20 carries. Well, he gets a little stronger and a little better in the second half after he's been fouled a couple of times and he's been to the free throw line a couple of times.
But Marty can't get it to go. Chris Harris, incidentally, that was his 3rd foul if you're keeping tabs. Hafner did go out earlier this half, momentarily, I'm told. Moore on the turnaround, and he's become a very big thorn in the Aces, as it's now a 4-point ISU advantage. UE has to be careful as they bring it down at almost the 8-minute mark.
Big trip down the floor for the Aces, no doubt. Who do you go to in a crucial situation but your captain, and you give it to Marty Simmons, and that's the 4th foul on Chris Harris. And now the Sycamores are in some trouble because Harris has done a pretty good job on Simmons. Simmons coming off the pick. He's looking to go into the paint, and Harris comes over, and you see him reach in right there. Marty kind of giving him a little shove. Marty having some trouble at the free throw line.
They say his elbow is okay, but he still likes to wear that bandage. In high school, he used to wear, as many of the Lawrenceville fans know, I think he wore one on his left elbow.
We talked to him about that the other day. We said, well, you wore one in high school. He said, yeah, but that was on my left elbow. He said it feels good.
Benji Frazier comes in as Harris comes out with 4 fouls.
I said Marty Simmons has had a little trouble. I guess 7 for 9 from the free throw line is trouble. We could take that kind of trouble all year.
Came in shooting very well from the line. And it's a 51-49 ball game. Timeout. 8 minutes to go, and it's 51-49 ISU.
Good crowd on hand.
Yes, indeed. Again, we don't have the official attendance. 8,500 was expected. Maybe a little more than that.
I think maybe we might be pushing 9. We talked to the assistant athletic director, Mike Moore, about it, and he said he's hoping for 9,000 in here tonight. And, of course, a much bigger crowd than that expected on Monday night against Kentucky Wesleyan.
We mentioned earlier, of course, Larry Bird, the greatest of the all-time greats from ISU. There is another Bird still at Terre Haute. Eddie Bird was recruited, but it was a victim of Proposition 48, and they tell me he is still on the campus. Will try to get eligible academically, and they have a scholarship waiting for him next year.
He's an exciting player, played on the Indiana All-Star team.
Incidentally, the big gun for ISU, John Sherman-Williams, is gone, much to the Aces' relief. He is now playing in the CBA at Rockford. The next game for the Aces, Kentucky Wesleyan. And also, we'll be bringing you a game coming up. Here's the Moore bucket.
Well, Moore has really come on as he's hit 2 in a row, and Lee Moore hitting the bucket there. 6 for 11 from the field, the Sycamores are here in the second half. The Aces 6 of 12, 50%. Indiana State just a little bit better than that at about 53.
I started to tell you that the Aces play a couple other games next week. They go to Wisconsin Green Bay for their first road test. That will be on Thursday night. That game will not be televised, but we will bring you Austin Peay, the Governors, and they must be something. They scared the daylights out of Kentucky a couple weeks ago.
They hit a 3-point play with just a few seconds left and got fouled, so it was a 4-point play. They went from down 3 to up 1, and it was Rex Chapman that came down, dished it off to Irv Thomas for the winning bucket as Kentucky went ahead for good.
8 minutes to go. And here comes ISU. They lead it 51-49. Both teams unbeaten. UE trying to go 3-0. ISU trying to improve to 4-0. ISU will host Butler on Monday night. The ball kicked out of bounds. It goes to UE.
This has not been a very pretty game to watch. There's been a lot of mistakes, a lot of steals, a lot of turnovers.
You kind of expect that when you're in an emotional rivalry like this and early in the season, not alibiing, but I think both. This is the best matchup the Aces have had. So they probably, and it's the first Saturday night, they probably want to maybe trying a little extra. That shot nowhere near the basket as again Twitty really lets it fly into the band.
Well, we knew Twitty would force things a little bit, but that's what a point guard's supposed to do. He's supposed to force things. A point guard that doesn't make a turnover is probably not a very good point guard because he's got to make things happen out there, but you want him to make more positives than negatives.
Hafner down the baseline. Strong move in the basket.
Good move by Scott Hafner. Went outside, kind of went back door on that one, got Twitty looking the other way and put it in to tie the score.
14 points, very consistent, 7 in each half. Scott averaging 21. 7 minutes to go. Again, it's tied 51 all. Applewhite. Brand with a rebound.
The Aces looked strong on the boards that time. They had one defensive player in the shooter's face and another one waiting for the rebound.
Curtis Jackson moving quickly down to Simmons. And he double dribble. It goes back to ISU.
Marty says, how can I double dribble on that? I never picked it up. Coach Cruz would like to see the Aces run their offense a little bit. He was a little disgruntled that time when Hafner drove it down into the double pick, and I think there was supposed to be someone coming off that double low post.
Under 6.5 remaining. Benji Frazier blocked, and a foul on Marty Simmons.
What I think Indiana State's trying to do is run the offense a little bit, get a switch to a smaller man on a big guy, and then look inside. Frazier goes up, and Marty gets him, well, maybe on the arm. Definitely got a piece of something.
Benji Frazier, all Region 24 with the Warriors of Wabash Valley. Goes 6'6", 203. So he and Simmons are a pretty good matchup. Height-wise, Marty has a few pounds on him.
And you talked about Frazier playing for Wabash Valley and Coach Scott Rendell.
But again, UE does not get the rebound. That seems to have happened several times tonight, Dean. They've had trouble getting that ball off the defensive board.
I think the rim sounds a little funny tonight. I don't know if those are new rims, but they sound a little funny.
Moore, there's a lot of banging underneath. Twitty will try from the twilight. Simmons battling it around. Here's Applewhite, and Brand controls the rebound.
The Aces had their hands on it a couple of times. Jim Cruz up yelling, and the crowd's starting to get into it a little bit. Big time.